I had no idea when I first came up to teen empowerment, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Yeah, I didn't know.
We were so focused and so engaged because like the history was interesting and it was such a shift from what we learned in school. And it was like, we were actually learning our history. Like we could actually find a family member who has lived these same experiences, and it's never been that in school. And I think that's like, it's the like prime example of why we need to put this type of curriculum and learn about this type of stuff in school, because we want to learn about this stuff. So
that's an excellent point, because you're right. I don't think there's many people we even know, except for our generation, what actually happened to us in that community and how it devastated the people in that community. So hopefully, as I see what's coming through with this project, from day one, when I first had the interview, I didn't think it would be at this point today. It has grown so much, and so many things have happened, and so many other people are involved, that it is something we have to make sure is shared with the rest of the community.
Well, I'll start this way. That area was always important to me, because the day I landed here in Rochester to attend college, Rochester Institute of Technology, RIT, was downtown then, 1 block from Clarissa. And when I arrived, I was told he didn't have time for me. That was the gentleman who seemed to be in charge of the place where the new students were checking in. A cleaning lady directed me to Favor Street, and I was able to get a room from an elderly couple who, but within 5 years, they had passed over. But they had the, as I like to say, the Clarissa Street view on how to help people who need help. And the Pithard, I seldom went into it because I didn't have a lot of the money. But whenever I would go, it was a place where people were alive with just being with each other and thinking about how they could go from A to B and beyond.
Even with the disadvantages that community had, I feel like it's something still could have flourished. Something still could have become of that. And for youth like myself, I mean, it's a common complaint from us that we don't have many places to go, many places to be, to do stuff. So I just feel like, you know, taking away Clarissa, it just shows the lack of stuff we have. And even then, the people like you who have lived through that, I don't know, I feel like I mean, you know, I love hearing it, like the information and stuff, but like, I don't know, I would feel some type of way just having to always relive and tell that story of like what we had, but you know, it's not what we do have. So I don't know, that always just hits me when you guys have to reflect on, you know, all the stuff you've lost.
What's it like to work with elders?
But it's very cool, like, because I know with everybody, like all the elders, they have their own personality too, and what they like to do. Like George, I know when it comes down to Clarissa Street and stuff like that, he loves it. Like he enjoys it to the depth. Like he really enjoys it. So it's really cool to see him, like when he sees or hear somebody talk about Clarissa Street, all you see is a child, and like they get so excited, and he gets happy about it. Like he knows this person who lives in that house, this person who lived in that house, or this was used to be there. So it's very cool. And then to hear the stories, like the stories is the best part.
Usually when you're talking to older people, it gets boring. But I never got bored like listening to you guys' stories or anything. Or, like even just, like somebody else teaching me, because like my teachers are all like middle-aged at school, but like actually learning something in my own city from my own people, you know, it's just different. It's like I soaked it up.
How would it have been if they hadn't came through with the urban renewal? When you look at the housing that we had, you look at the business owners who had businesses who could have passed those on to their children and grandchildren. You know, I look at this thing going on in Tulsa 100 years ago, how they tore that down. I mean, they tore down generational wealth that could go on forever. And so I think back at that, and when I look at that and I see what they might have could have done instead of tearing down, if they could have built onto what we had.
But we're talking about the removal of people out of their neighborhoods and the losses that they suffered. Here in Rochester, just taking the one situation in the Clarissa Street and the uprooting of residents from Clarissa Street, predominantly African American, and it accomplishes the same thing: a loss of property, a loss of income, a loss of pride. It just having your someone put their foot on your every aspect of life, you know, financially, socially, and politically.
Right.
So it's parallel. It just was done differently.
I always think about what would it be like for Rochester right now if that wouldn't have happened. And I always like think of there wouldn't be white suburbs or white schools, stuff like that. And we wouldn't have to worry about, oh, who lives in the city, who lives in the suburbs, who lives in Greece, stuff like that. And it wouldn't be just a bad city for like really having that bad reputation on people who live in the city or kids who go to city schools. There wouldn't have to be like, the poverty rate would be so much lower than what it is right now. And we wouldn't have to worry about the school to prison pipeline, and youth wouldn't have to worry about, you know, general stuff like being checked at school by security guards or walking through metal detectors and stuff like that. And it really makes me feel like those two big things that happened years ago would have had such a big impact on what we're living in today.
Knowing youth now and how they are, I wanted to know, how do you think about youth now from in the past?
I am encouraged. There was a period of time when I was very disheartened because I didn't feel like youth were brought up with the same kinds of principles and family values that we elders were. And so it was kind of sad. So I was very much excited to find that that wasn't true of all teens. And I wanted to be involved. So it was motivating. And plus I drew energy from the teens' energy, your energy. And as an elder, it helped to make me feel that life can get better. I know what it takes, and it looks like these teens know what it takes.
The people who are now elders, when they were youth, they were raised so differently than we were. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that there was so much more of a sense of a community back then. And it wasn't like a have your guard up mindset. That's what we're raised to have. We're raised to think like you protect yourself and that's it, you and your family and that's it. And, you know, the elders back then were raised to think, you know, we're a community. We help each other. I got you, you got me. And that's just not what it is today. And I think that mindset is what contributes to a lot of the issues today. And you can go down list of all the different issues that we have in this community. And I think they could all tie back to the gentrification of Clarissa Street somehow, some way. So I think it was some serious damage that was done, but I definitely think it's something that we can repair. And that's why we're doing this work.
Noted for its outpouring of people very heavily invested in community, come to unity. And it can happen again, but of course it's going to take organization. And what you and your chums, your colleagues have been focusing on seems to me to be something that maybe more of us old folks would invest in some way without getting in the way. But you've got you've got the history to help you, and maybe there are some helping hands that come along too. So go ahead on. It's all right with me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're definitely like at the point where we've got all this information and now we need to use it. We started with the documentary, and then once we get that the exhibit out there, keep trying to get it out there. I'd say it's time to start, I don't know, just reaching out more to the Rochester community and just